Today we visit the Bressingham Steam Museum and Gardens, a unique attraction that combines beautifully maintained gardens, historic steam-powered vehicles and Dad's Army memorabilia. Then we give our tour of our Suffolk Airbnb, which is owned by the Guysatgreenacre, so come along with us. And welcome to another vlog, and today we leave our Airbnb, which is in Aylsham, where we've had a great time.
Beautiful, lovely Airbnb.
It rained a bit, but I don't suppose you can blame anyone for the weather, but we had a very enjoyable time here. Today we're going to make our way towards our next Airbnb, which is in Hindercliff, isn't it?
Hinderclay, yeah, near
this, and en route we will be taking the time out to go to a steam train museum.
He says with glee, Joanne not so much, but there you go.
And it's not that we have a specific thing about steam trains, but they do interest me, as Joanne said.
I will try my best.
She's very trying.
I am.
Anyway, we will take you along with us. See you guys later.
Bye.
As you can see, it's another wet and horrible day, just the sort of weather you don't want to be travelling in. We're heading towards Bressingham Steam and Gardens. The original gardens were founded by a guy called Alan Bloom, who was a pioneering horticulturist and also a bit of an engineer, and he purchased the Bressingham estate in 1946 and he then started transforming it. He developed a technique for beds, which was known as the island bed gardening technique, where flower beds are viewed from all sides. The gardens were established in 1953 and then matured from that point. But I don't think, given the weather, that we're going to see much of the gardens on this particular trip. Alan was also a great fanatic around steam-powered machinery, and in 1961 he opened the Steam Museum, which is where we are at the moment. The adult admission to the Steam Museum and the gardens is somewhere around about £10. We are in the first exhibit, which happens to be the nearest within running distance of the entrance if you wanted to avoid the rain as we did, and this is called the Dad's Army Museum. But more about that later. As you enter into the museum, the first thing that you see is the travelling post office, established in 1838, with the last travelling post office in use in 1996. These were a much more efficient way of sorting out the mail whilst you were travelling from location to location. Mail continued to be carried on the train up until very recently in 2024. It's fascinating to think that they were still sorting the mail out as the train went along. So life on these travelling post offices was particularly hard. They had central heating installed in many of the coaches, and also there was a lot of padding. So if you look here, all of the green pieces are padding, and they sorted the mail into the various categories. Usually there would be rather than a number, there would be the location, and then they were taken to the sacks that were similarly named. You'll notice that the sorting boxes are different sizes to cater for different types of goods. The Steam Museum spans 2 floors, with the ground floor featuring steam-powered vehicles, models and the Dad's Army exhibits. These exhibits pay tribute to the beloved British sitcom Dad's Army that aired between 1968 and 1977. Set during World War II, the show humorously portrayed the antics of the Home Guard in the fictional town of Wilmington-upon-Sea. In recognition of several scenes being filmed in and around Thetford, Norfolk, this dedicated museum was established to preserve memorabilia and celebrate the show's cultural impact. Visitors can explore original props and costumes used in the series, including uniforms and weapons, as well as vehicles like Jones's butcher's van. The backdrop to the exhibit is a number of reconstructed sets from the series, and they include Captain Mainwaring's bank and Jones's butcher shop. The museum also provides fascinating information and stories about the production of Dad's Army and its cast. Additionally, it holds special events such as reenactments, fan gatherings and presentations that delve into the show's history and legacy. The first of the sets was a printer's, and this featured an original 1901 Wharfdale printing press with a number of Dad's Army related items on the printer. As you went through the set, you arrived at a number of displays which featured steam pad models. So this dust cart was a prop used in the 1971 Dad's Army film. The vehicle was originally provided to Epsom Council back in 1934 and was withdrawn from service in 1959. It's a tiller steered vehicle, which is obviously there's no steering wheel. And it's the last known version of this type of vehicle and was carefully restored. This Leyland cab open pump skate farm engine was built in 1935. And is fairly typical of the farm engines that were used at the time of World War II. It's another prop used in one of the episodes of Dad's Army. The fire engine is maintained by a group of volunteers and regularly used on rallies and events. And we're now at Jones's butcher shop on Warburton-on-Sea. So this is the original prop used for Jones's van in the Dad's Army film. The top has actually been modified from the film. And it wouldn't be Jones's van without the included rifles poking out from the side. This is Boxer, a restored steam roller that was used in the Dad's Army's episode. It's a single cylinder 8-ton roller used in the episode Everyone is Trucking, filmed in 1974. This is a Robert Tidman and Sons steam engine and was made in Norwich. This is Bertha, the first of Alan Bloom's restored steam engines. This Austin 8 Type 2 seater tourer car is loaned to the museum, and it was featured in the Dad's Army episode The Making of Private Pike. Here we have a area which is showing a Dad's Army episode and has some of the memorabilia from the Dad's Army show. It's mocked up to look like the village hall. And here we have a BAFTA that was awarded to David Croft and Jimmy Perry as a special award in 2008. Don't know if that's Private Pike's bike or not. The old funeral hearse that was used during the war. And here we have a mock-up of an Anderson shelter. This Anderson shelter was extremely dark. Now looking down on the ground floor from the second floor of the Dad's Army Museum, and this section of the museum houses steam and railway memorabilia as well as some train models. On one side is a model of the railway from Thetford Bridge to Barnham, including the A134 at Bury St Edmunds. There was supposedly a train going round here, but it seems to have stopped. Must be leaves on the line. Opposite this track was another track, and this one ran a steam pad locomotive, though the whole time that we were here it never seemed to run. Upstairs section of the museum is about a third of the size of the ground floor. There are two main corridors, and then there are cabinets on either side of those corridors. Whilst there are a few models up here, the majority is memorabilia. In the gardens is the Gallopers steam pad roundabout, and here's some of the memorabilia from it. As well as railways, there's also tributes to steam pad boats. You will still find the occasional model, and this is a lovely example. This cabinet is dedicated to the fire service. This cabinet celebrates the East Anglia Railway and everything that goes together with leisure. Another cabinet celebrates life during World War II with example ration books and other memorabilia. This cabinet is part of the Peter Vine Railway Memorabilia cabinet. And now we're in Devon, an area we know very well and where we've come from to get up to Norfolk. Another cabinet exhibited, and I think they do look really nice, mile points and other indication boards. The 1921 Railway Act created the big four English railways, but there were a few outside of that act, and one was the London and North Eastern Railway. Further changes occurred in 1948 when the big four were nationalised, creating British Rail. Another exhibit looked at the oil flare lamps and containers. And who doesn't like some brass gauges? These are the ones that were used to monitor the efficiency and the pressure in steam locomotives. Here we have oil lamps from the East Anglia Railways. Another model, this one is the Flying Scotsman, a standard gauge railway. Cabinet here that celebrated communications in all its forms as used on the railways. The cabinet was focused on Bressingham itself, and it had a number of guides that were used through its time since 1961 up to the modern day. It was still raining, and the next quick dash we could make was to the main locomotive shed. There are 3 working narrow gauge railways in Bressingham Gardens. They are the Garden Railway, the Waven Valley Railway and the Fen Railway, and we believe that this shed is where those engines are all housed. On the day that we came here, there was none of the normal facilities, and I don't know if that was because it was raining, but you couldn't get a ride on railway, you couldn't use the roundabout, and there was no cafe.
So it's very, very, very wet out there.
Rain necessitated another quick dash, this time to the standard gauge running shed. The first locomotive that we came across was from the Great Eastern Railway. It was built in 1895 at Stratford Works in London, and it remained in service with British Rail up until 1959, which was a brilliant vintage year. And nestled behind was this 1909 locomotive, which was built at the Robert Stephenson and Company at Darlington, and it was basically used for heavy duty commuter passenger trains on the London, Tilbury and Southend Railway. And this locomotive used to run on the Palace Gates line, which was a short railway branch line in North London, running from the main line of Seven Sisters in Tottenham to Palace Gates in Wood Green. The line closed to passengers in January 1963, and goods continued to run for just over another year. Next up was an example of a royal train. This particular one was built for Queen Alexandra in 1902 for the LNWR railway. So this is a British Rail Standard Class 9F locomotive, and it's a steam locomotive which was designed for British Railways by Robert Riddles, and it's the last of the series that were built in the 1950s, and it was intended for use on fast heavy freight trains over long distances. It was never originally known as Black Prince. That occurred somewhat later, when it was withdrawn from active service after a period of 9 years working for British Rail, and was bought by the artist David Shepherd and moved to Longmoor Military Railway. So outside is the Gallopers Carousel, and this is one of the horses from it. Far end of this shed was a set of stationary steam engines that have been used for industrial purposes, including this one that had been used in Norwich Hospital. This particular example used to power the lifts at the Chivers Jam Factory in Cambridgeshire. This one used to power the line shaft in a textile factory, distributing the power to the various textile machines. In the small workshop in the shed was this 15-inch gauge locomotive, which was going through some degree of repair. And here we have a beam pumping engine, which is an Easton and Anderson's. It was built in 1810 and was installed in Banstead Hospital in Surrey. Another mad dash, and this time to the reserve locomotive shed next door. This particular shed had a real locomotive smell to it. Having finished that particular shed, we then made a quick dash for the signal box.
Face of someone who's had enough of the rain now.
Reading between the lines, I think it was probably time to leave, so we actually decided that we'd go back, have a look in the shop. Then there was a garden centre opposite, and they still had a cafe that was open, and we'd try that out, have a bite to eat. The cafe wasn't much to write home about. I think we had a Cornish pasty and that was about it, and a drink. And then we made our way on to our Airbnb, which is where we now are, the guys from Greenacres. So we've been following the guys from Greenacres since fairly early on in their journey. They have an Instagram account where they document what they've done to establish their vegetable garden, the changes that they've made to the main house, and also how they brought on the Airbnb, which is where we're going to stay. And this is the garden and grounds of the Airbnb before we go in.
So, this Airbnb actually has a utility room, which is fantastic. So you can hang your wet clothes as it is today, and there's a bench there, and you've got a lovely great big butler sink here, which is beautiful. And it smells divine, which I'm thinking is this bergamot energising and uplifting. It smells divine. Got loads of drawers and cupboards, but I mean, I don't think you'd need it because there's room everywhere else. So yeah, this is lovely. In here is a downstairs loo, which is handy, with a hand basin above, which we think is a very good idea if you're limited for space. In fact, we're going to tell our daughter to do it. So lovely. Hello. This is taking so many takes to do. Anyway, we've now left Norfolk and we're in Suffolk, and we're in a lovely village called Hinderclay. And the reason we've come here really is I follow these two guys called the Guysatgreenacre, and more or less I followed them from the start, and they moved here and they bought a house. Biggish house, and then they've got this lovely Airbnb that they've done, and I've talked to them and I comment on all their stories, And so I just said to Steve, I really want to go there and see them and meet them, you know. So we're here, and this is the best Airbnb I think I've ever stayed in, isn't it? Fantastic. So he's just nodding, he hasn't said yes. It's really absolutely home from home, it's lovely. So give them a follow, the guys at Greenacre, and see what you think. So they've got a lovely dining table here, seat 6. They've got lots and lots and lots of puzzles and books, all sorts in there. And there's a lovely sort of living room area, which I will show you. Lovely comfy sofas, lovely TV, you can get Sky. So what else can you get on there, Steve? Free view, yeah. There's an, I won't say it too loud because it'll come on. I mean, it's just every modern con you can think of. Lovely wooden decking, that's the word I wanted, decking there. But it's absolutely pouring down and has been since we've been here. Got your own little garden out there. There's even a garden shed out there, but I don't know if that's for use. Lovely big barbecue if you want to barbecue. It's very snug and warm here. Wonderful, wonderful. Just great. So I will take you over to the kitchen. So I haven't done any cooking or anything in the kitchen, but I think there's everything you could possibly want. You know, you've got fridge freezer here. Lovely big American jobby. Great. Microwave. There's a coffee thing with pods. Even got an air fryer. All your bins there. Lovely cooker. I haven't even looked in all the drawers actually, so I don't even know. I mean, there's just everything here. Lots of sauces and spices. I mean, it's a really big kitchen for an Airbnb. Lots of different glasses. What's over here, Steve? Oh, cutlery. I mean, there's just absolutely everything you could possibly want. Big toaster. Oh, I see. That's a novel thing. Shelves to keep all your stuff. Lovely dishwasher. Another cupboard. I like the way they put the handles that way so it all matches. Nice. Sink. They've got hand wash, hand lotion, dish soap in all the bathrooms in the whole house. And upstairs, you know, shampoo, conditioner and all that. So it's really, really lovely. I absolutely love it here. There's a lovely cupboard here. Big cupboard. Ironing board, iron. A big long fan there actually. Thing to dry your clothes on. There's even a high chair in there. And cordless, that's the word I was looking for, cordless hoover. Oh, and a torch in there as well. Everything. So that's the kitchen and the living room and everything. I'm going to show you upstairs now. So we're upstairs now. So this is the small bedroom. This is just a single. Very comfortable, very stylish, I think. Lovely, I love those drawers. And there's a big full-length mirror behind the door there. And some hangers on here. So that's nice. This is the main bathroom. There's 2 bathrooms. There's bedroom 1 has an ensuite, and this is the main shower room. So there's a lovely shower, and you've got all your hand wash, hand lotion, shampoo, conditioner, body wash. Great. Towel. Lovely toilet. It's really nice. This is a lovely, lovely place if you want somewhere to stay in Suffolk. Let's go and do the bedrooms, the other 2 bedrooms now. So big this. This is the second bedroom. Great big 6-foot bed that looks. This is very comfortable, lovely in here. So there's 2 bathrooms obviously, because the first bedroom's got the ensuite, and then there's that other shower room that I showed you. So this is all very nice, lovely, love this. Very nice. Full length mirror, plugs, sockets, lovely bedside cabinets. I've got a feeling I remember, did they get those? I think did them up themselves, I think. Or unless it was another cupboard, I can't remember. But anyway, love it all in here. Love all the decor, it's beautiful. And this is the number 1 bedroom. Great big 6-foot bed, which you can have as singles if you want. It's a nice ensuite bathroom. There's a wardrobe over here. Hang your clothes up. Lots of fans if you come in the summer. Little dressing table area, mirror, and as I say, very stylish. And then this is the bathroom. And in here, got a lovely shower. You've got your hand wash, hand lotion, shampoo, conditioner, body wash, demist. I think it's a demist mirror there, and the loo. What more you want? Lovely. What more could you want?
And that concludes the look around the Suffolk Airbnb during our Norfolk adventure. One of the surprises when we were staying here was the guests that came to visit us in the garden. So I'll leave you with a couple of shots of what they got up to.